Okay, so we're going to look at some more examples today of how to look at word problems and decide if we need to divide, and if we do need to divide, to decide if we could make it into a fraction as well. So let's look at this word problem. I would like for you to work all the problems that we do in your notebook, or you can do them on your whiteboard, but your notebook may be a good tool so that you can come back to that as you work throughout the lessons today. Okay, Erin has 87 ounces of trail mix. So I'm going to underline that 87 because that's what she has and that's important. And she puts an equal number of ounces, so an equal number of ounces in each of the 12 bags. So I know that Erin has 12 bags and she's wanting to put an equal number of ounces of the 87 ounces of trail mix that she has. She's wanting to put an equal amount of those into the 12 bags. So how many ounces are in each bag? All right, so it sounds like to me I'm taking my trail mix and I'm putting it into bags. So I'm dividing it out. So let's think about, what am I sharing? Well, I'm sharing 87 ounces of trail mix, okay? And I am sharing it into 12 bags. So as a fraction, it would look like 87 twelfths. Obviously, that is an improper fraction. The top is way bigger than the bottom. So since 87 is such a big number, I'm going to just divide to put this into a mixed number. So my 87 is going to go in as my dividend. We talked about this yesterday, that the numerator on top is also the dividend in your division problem, and your denominator is your divisor. I'm going to come over to the side and count by 12s because I don't really know in my head 12 times what is close to 87. So I'm going to add 12 a couple times over here. So I'm going to start with 12. I'm going to add 12 plus 12. That makes 24. So 12 times 2 is 24. I'm not close to 87, so I'm going to add 12 again. That gives me 36. Going to add 12 again. I get 48. I'm going to add 12 again. I'm trying to get as close as I can to 87. So that's 60. All right, I'm going to have to come up here. 60 plus 12, 72. I'm getting close. So add 12 again. That's 84. I'm getting really close. I'm going to add 12 more, and I get 96. That's too big. So I'm going to go with 12 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to put my 7 on top. And that 12 times 7 was 84. So I'm going to put my 84 down here, and I'm going to subtract, and I get 3 as my remainder. So instead of saying I have a remainder of 3, I can actually find out how much I need to put in each bag with that remainder. So I would have 3 twelfths. And actually 3 twelfths could be reduced because 3 could also go into 12. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. So my answer would be 7 1/4 ounces would go into each bag. Okay, let's look at another one. Warren spent 400 hours. Actually, I'm sorry, I made a typo. So let's just get this one. We'll come right back to it in a second. 4 students share 7 sandwiches equally. Okay, so I have students sharing 7 sandwiches equally. So they're all going to get the same amount. How much of a sandwich does each student get? So I have 4 students sharing 7 sandwiches. So I'm going to ask myself, okay, what are they sharing? They're sharing 7 sandwiches. And with how many people? 4 people. So if I think about this as a division problem, 7 is my dividend, 4 is my divisor. So let's divide to figure out our answer, our quotient. 4 goes into 7. Well, I know 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 is too big, so I'm going to go with 1. 1 times 4 is 4. I subtract, and I get 7. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 3. So I bring my remainder, keep my denominator, and 3/4 could not be reduced. So how much does each student get? They get 1 3/4 of a sandwich. Look at this problem. I apologize. I had a number wrong in here. So let's look at this one. Warren spent 140 hours making 16 wooden toy trucks for a craft fair. So I'm going to stop there, and I know that he spent 140 hours and he made 16 wooden toy trucks. If he spent the same amount of time making each truck, this is important. He spent the same amount of time. So that means his time was equal for each truck that he made. So for each of those 16 trucks that he made, he spent the same amount of time. We want to figure out how many hours did he spend making each truck. Well, I know in total he spent 140 hours making those 16 toy trucks. So I'm going to divide that 140 hours into 16 so I can figure out how long he took for each one. So for just one. So if I think about what's being shared here, there's 140 hours that I'm sharing between 16 toys. So as a division problem, I would divide. I have 140 hours divided by 16. 16, again, is a very big number. And I know 16 doesn't go into 1. It doesn't go into 14. It's too big. So it has to go in 140. So I'm going to come over here to the side again, and I call this a cheat line. You can do this with any divisor, a 2, a 3, a 4, or even as big as 50. That way you can kind of keep up and just re-add that number, because remember, repeated addition is the same as multiplication. So let's go over here and let's add 16 plus 16. That gives us 32. So 16 times 2 is 32. Let's add 16 again. That's 48. We're not there yet, so I'm going to keep adding. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 4, 5, 6. Not there yet, so I'm going to add 16 again. I get 80. Not there yet, so I'm going to add 16 again. I'm at 96. I'm going to come up here and continue. Plus 16. It's 112, so I'm getting close. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 so far. Let's add 16 again. I'm at 128. Getting close. So let's add 16 again. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Carry the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So that's 144, which that's bigger than 140. So I'm not even going to write that one down because I know that it can't be that. It's too big. So I'm going to come over to my cheat line and I'm going to figure out 16 times what is closest to 140. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 16 times 8 was 128. Okay? Now I'm going to subtract. 0 take away 8. I can't do that, so I have to borrow. So I get 12. So if I write that up here, 12 over 16. Well, 12 over 16 seems like a big fraction. So I'm going to see if I can reduce that. I believe 2 will go into each one because they are even. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. And 16 divided by 2 is 8. And I could actually go one more time. Divide by 2, divide by 2, and I get 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So I have 8 3/4. So how long did he spend on each wooden toy? He spent 8 hours and 3/4 of another hour on each of those 16 wooden toys.